All right, Snow. I know you're really excited for this one.
Super excited.
Yeah. Michelangelo
Signorile.
Signorile from SiriusXM. Used to be the editor at Huffington Post and author of Queer in America, Sex, the Media, and the Closets of Power. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and thanks for having me on.
Oh, very, very welcome.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah, and Snow was just saying, like, she was a huge fan of the show.
Yeah, I was just saying, Lisa.
The woman who became a star of the show for days.
I know.
Because she's an out-of-touch MAGA person. But, it's always the people who are sort of seem the nicest that the listeners really just get so enraged about. It's like they just really wanted to take her on.
Yeah, and so we live in an area that's full of Lisas. We are in Paul Gosar's district. So I was like feeling like most of the callers too. I'm like, I didn't think you really went hard on her. Like, I mean, I was like, I was fine with it, the way that you handled it. I know a lot of them were like, you were too mean. Nope.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I mean, when I listened to it again, I really didn't think I was that mean. I did blow up at some point because she just refused to admit that Trump does anything wrong.
Yeah.
Including attacking the Pope.
Yeah, the whole cult mentality. Yeah.
Yeah. So that this was over the Pope issue?
Yeah. Yeah. She refused to admit that it was his meme was stupid.
Blasphemous.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was really over the war in Iran. She said that she had a daughter there, which people are disputing. She said that, then she said that, the Pope was wrong to say it was wrong, and that she's Catholic too, and that the Pope could lie. And the Pope, I said, this isn't a Catholic. Nobody would say the Pope lies.
No one. Like, my family is really devout Catholics. They would never say that.
So, Mr. Signorile, can you give us a little bit of background on, how you got started at Sirius?
Sure. I began over 20 years ago when SiriusXM had just begun, and we were the first channel. I was originally on the LGBTQ channel, OutQ, and that was the first talk channel on SiriusXM. They had, just begun talk. Before that, it was just music. Satellite radio was very new. It was only a few years, and there were only 30,000 subscribers. I mean, just to give you an idea, now we have 39 million, but it was, a very new thing, and they wanted to start talk, and they realized it was smart to find a community that wasn't served in media and in radio. So the first channel they started was the LGBTQ channel, and I had been a journalist mostly for newspapers, magazines. I had done a little bit of radio when there was the very beginning of internet radio, and I was doing like a weekly show. So I had a little bit of experience with it, but it really was just jumping in head first, doing that show. And it was 4 hours a day. And it just was hugely popular. I mean, the people listening to Sirius really wanted to listen, and we were hearing from all kinds of people, not just people in the queer community. All kinds of people were listening, and as Sirius grew, we grew, and it just became something bigger and bigger. And then I eventually moved in I think it was 2013, to the rebranded Progress. It was previously called Sirius XM Left, but They rebranded it as Progress, and that was sort of going there to be part of a bigger, diverse group of people talking about progressive issues, which also included, of course, the LGBTQ issues. And by then I was experienced as a radio host and dealing with a lot of people like Lisa. So, it was really great to be part of the beginning of that too. So I was really the beginning of two channels on Sirius XM, and it was good to do early on when we had so few subscribers because, it was a great way to make a lot of mistakes and learn, that's really it.
Yeah. And you gained notoriety in like the 90s for outing certain people, correct?
That's right. I was a founding editor of a magazine in New York that was a very groundbreaking and influential magazine. It was only in print for like 2 years, but we broke so many stories, and we were the center of so many controversies because we were coming out of ACT UP and a much more radical and aggressive type of politics. And we really broke a lot of stories in New York, exposing a lot of really corrupt practices, horrible homophobic, anti-LGBT stuff in the health department. Oh my God, the Catholic Church, everything. I mean, we had great reporters and we had great columnists. And I was writing a column called Gossip Watch, which is a watch of the gossip columns. And I had come out of publicity and sort of in Broadway and films, and that was kind of my first job after journalism school. So we were always working with gossip columns, and it was just understood that we covered up those celebrities who were gay and or lesbian or bi or whatever. I mean, we never spoke about the truth. We had to make sure we gave the columnists everything that was true about celebrities, like great dirt and stuff, in return for them promoting our clients. That was kind of a trade-off. We'd give them great dirt about people, but any heterosexual scandal was fine, and anything, boozing, abortions, extramarital affairs, but you could never say someone was queer. That was just, you had to actually match them up with somebody else. That's how entrenched it was. And all the columnists were gay too, which was a whole other thing. So I just started writing about how the columnists were covering things up on these people who were doing harm to the community, working, in the entertainment industry and promoting bands or acts that were anti-LGBT, and I just started writing the truth about them, and that became called Outing by Time magazine.
Oh, well.
It'd be great if that was still happening, like still going. Why did it end?
Well, I think it does sort of happen now more casually because of the internet and social media, and anyone can write anything, Okay. So you do see people, speculating about people. And I think we've seen many more public figures come out because they can't control it anymore. Back then you could control it. Had very limited media opportunities, and it could all be controlled the way we were controlling it, right? But now with the internet, it's impossible to do that. And so I think that's why we see so many celebrities get out ahead of it, and just sort of come out, and that's good. I'm glad they're doing that.
Yeah.
So I know we have limited time with you, but the main reason I wanted to get you on is to talk about some of the issues that, we're all dealing with this administration, and basically states everywhere. Just giving a few examples, and then we'll get a little bit into it. Tennessee dropped Pride Month and renamed it Nuclear Family Month. Idaho, the governor signed a bathroom bill that would criminalize transgender people for using a bathroom of not their born gender. Kansas revoked 1,700 driver's licenses of transgender people. And now if you're gender doesn't match your passport, your passport is invalid, the way I understand it, because Caitlyn Jenner is having issues. So if we could just talk a little bit about that and your thoughts.
Well, we're seeing horrendous things in the states and at the local level. And of course, it's mirroring what's coming from the current administration in Washington. And it's pandering to these very vocal, very animated groups of people who are able to whip up fear and hate about issues that people don't know a lot about. And in that way, they distract from all of the other issues that people really are struggling with and blame everything on this group of people that people don't know a lot about. Now it's trans people in particular, but this has been the story of the queer rights movement from the beginning, whether it was Anita Bryant in Florida or up in Oregon, the ballot measures that were trying to ban homosexuality back in the 90s. I mean, especially when the economy's bad, they need a scapegoat. They need something to really try to blame everything on. And it's very successful for a while. And eventually we do the work, and it's very daunting and very difficult, but we do the work and we educate people and we change minds, and it doesn't work as well for them anymore. And I think we've seen that happening in a lot of places. In other places, it's still working, and people are still, not educated about the issues, and politicians are still able to, scapegoat with these issues. And so they're doing it. And these are just really ugly attacks, and people are harmed from it. There's no question about it. It's something that is detrimental to people's well-being, and it is something that the whole community needs to focus on and really do a lot of effort to educate people about. I mean, Caitlyn Jenner, in a way, it brings attention to the issue, at least on national level. But of course, she is enormously hypocritical because she doesn't care about it until it happens to her. I mean, she is a transgender woman who faces the same kinds of discrimination or hatred that's whipped up, but she's also a woman of privilege. And she comes from a family of privilege, and, she's with the Kardashians. And so she's able to sort of, try to reap the benefits, quote unquote, of being close to the MAGA movement or Trump while still being trans and watching them trample on trans rights. And then she just excuses it all because she hopes that she's going to get some sort of exemption. Now it's interesting to see if she is going to get an exemption where she's asking for her gender markers to be changed on her passport. She says she can't fly internationally. And you know what? They may do it because this MAGA movement is full of these people who are just grifting and creating exemptions for themselves and, making sure that they, trample on so many other people's rights. But then, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, they're all engaged in all kinds of corruption. So she may get the special treatment. I think we need to stay focused on that. And look at how this whole MAGA movement is about, giving privileges to an elite while they sell this idea to the public that they're actually standing for the working class and the downtrodden, which is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think that she actually cares about anybody else's passport anyways. I think she just, once she gets hers, because she probably will get hers changed, I don't think she really is going to stand up for anyone else either. I mean, when I heard her speaking, it was all just about her. It wasn't about the trans community. That's what I got out of it.
Exactly. It's about, I'm a member of the club. I should be able to have an exemption. And, it wasn't about, we have to fight about this. We have to fight this for all trans people. It was about, I should get some sort of special treatment. And that's kind of been her entire shtick since she started supporting Trump and the Republicans. And as they've just become more and more anti-trans and anti-everything LGBTQ. But, it's the same with people like Richard Grenell. It's the same with the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, who's gay. These people thrived on the rights that we fought for. Scott Bessent is married. He has children he adopted because of the laws that were passed because of LGBTQ activists. Mm-hmm. And then here he is with an administration that's actively trying to take those things away. They're trying to take away trans rights, but they're also attacking rights for gay, lesbian, and bi people. Nobody should think they're not. That's what the religious right and the Christian nationalists who elected Trump want. They want to end marriage equality. They want to get that back to the Supreme Court in any way that they can. And, these people are doing the same thing. They think they're exempt because they're a member of the team. They're special.
Yeah. Well, how do you think we progress from here? Because everything seems like it's reverting back to the dark ages, and and that community is going to be put back in the closet, so to say. And we've always tried to fight the good fight for the community, and we have many great friends. My own offspring is trans, and being in this ruby red area, I really am afraid for them.
It is so difficult, and I salute you, MJ, and Snow. I salute you in the work that you're doing and standing up and fighting back in a place where it's very difficult and where it can be dangerous. And I think that's happening in places all around the country. And people have been in danger. There's no question about it. We have to continue to work together and get the message out. And I don't think people will be pushed down or pushed out. I think the more they attack people, the more people stand up. There are people risking their lives. There are people who are purposely going into bathrooms to test the law, right, and get arrested to bring attention to it. That's so brave. That's so courageous, right? Yeah. Because they're engaged in civil disobedience. They're engaged in the same civil disobedience that people engaged in sitting at lunch counters in the civil rights movement or AIDS activists did when they chained themselves to the FDA, putting themselves at risk, putting their bodies on the line. I think that we are going to continue to see that kind of fight. I don't think they can push this movement down. I think it is going to continue to reverberate. And we're also seeing that these issues aren't working, at least for Trump, in the way that he thought. And even the Republican Party writ large, they really overshot the idea that trans issues somehow turned the election. I mean, this election was so close in 2024. He won by 1.4%. You could say anything affected it. But we all know now, when we look at all the data that's come in, it was really about the economy and what people were feeling. And they have tried with this trans issue now in election after election. I mean, they had ads out all across Virginia during the governor's race, and Governor Spanberger won by 15 points. They just did it again in Wisconsin for the Supreme Court race, and the liberal won by 20 points. Yeah. Yes. They keep coming back with these ads, and the ads, it's just not reverberating because I think too many people in too many places, not all places, are saying no, that we know this is a trick, no matter how they may feel about it. You saw what happened with the DoorDash grandma.
Yeah.
She didn't. She was like, I'm not going to talk about that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not an issue people care about.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and say those people that, voted for the price of eggs and gasoline, how is that working out for you right now?
Exactly. I mean, I think a lot of people, in a way, everything's backfiring big time because a lot of people, let's be honest, they all say, oh, we didn't think this was going to happen. We didn't think he was going to deport all these people who are just hardworking people and aren't criminals. We didn't think that, he would start wars, this and that. We all knew what was going to happen. He said he was going to deport 18 million people. There weren't 18 million criminals, right? We all knew, but they were just rationalizing to try to convince themselves because they thought they were going to get something out of it. They thought they were going to get the inflation down on day one and get money and all of this. And, they thought they were going to get checks from Doge after they cleaned out the government, whatever. And none of that happened. And I think what now happens is they not only didn't get what they want, but then they look at all this other stuff that they kind of just put in the back of their heads. They were willing to rationalize away. And I think, and I've talked to these people, it really makes them really feel icky. I was down with this guy deporting people and these horrible attacks on trans people. I mean, these are vicious attacks every time he's on TV, the things he says about trans people. I was down with this and I didn't even get anything out of it. Right. So I think they feel even more icky now.
Yeah. Transgender for everyone, is what he always says, whatever that means. Well, anyway, I know you're a very busy person, and you gotta get going. But thank you for joining us.
Well, we can do another 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I wanted to say one more thing. My favorite caller. I want to do a shout out to one of your callers. I love when Seth calls in. I try to say "girl" whenever he calls in, like he does, but I'm not as good at it as him. But he is hands down my favorite.
We love the listeners who call in. Every radio program, I think the number is only 1 to 3% of people actually call in to a call-in radio program who are listening, and those are the people I feel who are really adding some. They have so much to say. They do so much work in the community. They're often calling up to tell us what's happening on the ground, and they're really vital. And I think they help us all to create an atmosphere where we're all helping each other, and it's a national community, and it's kind of like our therapy,
Oh yeah, definitely. You guys are the reason, Tom Hartman, you, Dean, Stephanie, John Fugelsang, you guys are the reason why I've actually kept my Sirius subscription in my car. I've listened to y'all since 2013, and I've kept it. I've renewed it because I just need you guys, especially where I live. Then I don't feel so alone.
Well, I mean, that is great to hear, and I hear that from other people, and I just want you to know that we need you too, because it gets me through the day, believe me, talking to everybody and knowing so many people are out there connecting, and that we're not crazy, and that we actually all believe in equality and in helping people and in overcoming this horrific, horrible, monstrous administration. And I think we're doing it. I'm really feeling like we're in a good place moving into the midterms, even as we have to remain enormously alert and all hold on to each other.
Yeah. I think it is working. I don't think so much that it's moving people here. We haven't heard a whole lot of stories here where people are coming out of that cult, but it's good, listening to your show, listening to the callers that call in and say that, I think you had one this week that was talking about how they're done with MAGA.
Well, and we can tell you that, sorry to interrupt, that at our protests they get bigger every time, which is encouraging.
Yeah, that does at least happen. More I think there's more independents that will actually show up now to the protests here.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe the people who were afraid to speak out are speaking out more.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean there are more people leaving MAGA, but they do seem less proud. There are less flags from what people tell me who are calling in. They see less of the sort of, iconography all over the place. And, that doesn't mean they're switching. It just means they don't feel so great about it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
And maybe they're discovering that they want to be on the right side of history when this is all said and done.
Or they're starting to get embarrassed.
And I always think about how like their children, how do they answer to their children, or how will they? How will they answer to their children when we finally get past all this and history is written and the kids ask or grandkids ask, where were you? What were you doing?
Their children will go and ask, because I asked my mother, when I learned a lot more about Ronald Reagan, I was like, how could you vote for Reagan? And she's like, oh, I didn't. You need to go talk to your dad about that. So they will ask them.
And the other encouraging thing, being a father of a trans child, well, young adult at this point, is the younger people, which is really encouraging. My child has never faced bullying or anything like that, and the younger people are really accepting of just being yourself.
Yeah, the younger people here are actually really, really good about non-bullying.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's good to hear. And it's, MJ, it's good that there are parents like you as well. You're doing a great thing, because there are too many kids trapped in families where they're trying to do damage to them, where they're trying to convert them, quote unquote, or whatever. So kudos to you too for standing up for all of us.
Well, thank you. It means a lot. Come from you.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll wrap this up. Thank you very much. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Don't know what weekend it was on, but
worry about it.
You're in the business though, so I'm sure that you go through this too from time to time.
Oh yeah, we always have it. It's part of the work.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you. You do a great show, and thank you for all you do and your channel and the way you handle your callers.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me on again.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
All right. Have a good day.
Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, how cool was that?
Way cool.
Boy, does he have a radio voice? Does he? I was just listening to his voice going.
I know.
Wow.
He's like, I'm telling you, you're probably going to be like a listener. You could listen like I do. Like I don't listen when it's live, because I like to skip through the commercials. So I'll usually wait till the shows has started for an hour, and then I can. That's why I'm not able to call either, and I'm out where the signal will drop. So I don't want to. I've never called into his show.
I'll have to take a lunch sometime and call him, because we wanted to talk about Ron Gould on it, but we were limited on time.
Yeah, you should call his show and talk about that, because he would probably love to talk about that. Yeah.
So, really quick, touch on a couple things. We had a fantastic time at Pod Jam 3 last weekend.
Yes.
Jael Colvan is a sweetheart.
Nailed his act as usual.
Trump,
I mean,
Trump
like
versus
how
Vegas.
How would he not? I mean, he's like the number one Trump impersonator.
People saying was talking about him because he was talking.
He keeps saying in his top five. I'm like, what? Who are the other ones then? I want names. Yeah. I want names, because I don't believe you. And you just say top five. Like, no, number one.
And Bridget was there. Bridget
Yeah.
came out for it.
Bridget and hot
And hot
sauce.
sauce.
And hot sauce. And hot sauce actually enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
he's
cool.
he's all over on the map on the politics, and so if he liked it, I mean,
Yeah.
JL said that he gets people of all persuasions that like his stuff. So
Yeah. So we want to thank.
I actually think that, JL could probably perform here doing Trump because these people are so enamored with Trump, they'd probably think that it was cool. They'd be like, because it's not like JL doesn't say stuff that Trump would not say. I mean, I have actually played him to conservative friends, and they're like, it's funny because he would actually say something like that.
Yeah, it's almost like the world's best Elvis impersonator.
Right, yeah. Like, I think that that's how they would look at it. That's why I was sad that he didn't want us to try to book him Saturday for a show here. I was like,
he had to make the show at the after party.
I know, but I mean,
and everybody just
we could have got him a paid gig. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to act like a manager here. I'm trying to get into that position. Okay.
I'm trying to get to that position.
I'm trying to be an agent. All right. I'm trying to do that.
Well,
remember,
he's coming back in
here's my
January.
impression. Get you going places. I'm trying to do that lady that was on Friends. That was Joey's. See, I think I could be a talent agent.
No, he's coming back to Vegas in January to see Metallica at the Sphere. So, Pete Dominic, his whole community, just great, lovely people. Cassie for putting on that. That's got to be a lot.
Roz for being a sweetheart.
Roz,
she's
you
like
are awesome.
She's like one of the nicest people on the planet.
She was there for me a few weeks ago. When
she's there for everyone. Yeah. She won the Best Friend Award.
Yeah,
I'm like, I can see why.
Oh, and our new
Rod and Karen,
our new friends, who's had some very nice things to say about us on their show.
Yeah,
and Kat, and a funny thing to say about Kat.
You know what I think now. What I'll always think, anytime I hear Rod, the Kool-Aid Man. I'm not going to not think about that now.
Cool. Oh, and if you don't know, of JL's social media, he just put out the clip of Rod asking Trump that question.
Oh, yeah.
So
I did. I saw that already.
That was brilliant. Just absolute sweethearts. And they made us feel like we were part of the podcast community. We know there's a food chain, on podcasts, and we know our place.
We're at the bottom.
We're right at the bottom.
We're the lobsters.
But they welcomed us in like family, and we appreciate all that.
Yes.
And just a crazy week. Who would think that Trump would go to war against the Pope on it? I mean, just it literally is. It's a skit that JL would do.
All I gotta say is, over that stuff with the Pope, my grandmother is turning over in her grave. My grandma was the biggest devout Catholic that I knew, that I ever knew, and thank God she didn't have to see this, because oh my God!
But this has done more. This has done more for the church, though. Like positive, brought people back. I think. Maybe not going back to mass, but like even like atheists are like, right on, the Pope's awesome. So
yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing too with Catholicism. So I grew up Catholic, obviously. I mean, I consider myself an agnostic, but I will say that, and I said this when we had Pope Francis, I am a huge fan of both Pope Francis, and I am a huge fan of Pope Leo. Mm-hmm. And like I told my family, I go, I love the Pope, and it has nothing to do with their religion. It's just they both were very decent human beings.
Yeah, and thanks to John Fugelsang in his book, Separation of Church and Hate, I have learned so much in the last year about this and the hypocrisy of the conservatives when it comes to religion.
Right. What I loved most about John's book was I'm like, you know, he brought it back to what I had learned about religion. And it's like, specifically with the whole, there's a certain group of Christians who go with the rhetoric of the Jews killed Jesus. And it was the Romans. Like, I was always taught that Pontius Pilate was the bad guy. And, there's the evangeles or whatever, the born agains, whatever they identify as. I mean, the show Righteous Gemstones is a good example of this, because when I started watching the show, Danny McBride's character is married and they have 3 sons. They named one of their sons Pontius, and I'm like, when I was watching the show, I'm like, why in the fuck would they name their kid Pontius if they're like Jesus freaks? I don't understand this. But then, like, his book kind of explained it, and I was like, and then it also made me think about Mel Gibson's movie, because that kind of depicts more that the Jews killed Jesus, like, because he's from a different sect of, he's kind of out there. He's in one of the weird sects of Christianity, or I don't know that I can't remember if Mel Gibson considers himself a Catholic. I can't remember exactly what denomination he is, but that's neither here nor there. That's not the important part of what I was saying. I got a little off track, but yeah, I just like that when I read his book, I was like, yeah, you know what? The thing I got out of it was I never had a problem with Jesus. I never had a problem with Jesus the whole time that I was in Catholic school and whatnot. He was never one of the things that I took issue with, because Jesus is probably like the world's most well-known underdog, first off. I mean,
Yeah.
your father gave you up for. That's the thing that makes me most as an agnostic, is like the fact that I don't know. I know a lot of people who are parents. I don't know one who would be like, no, you can take my kid. I'm staying here. Like, so that's the part most about the whole story that makes the least amount of sense to me. Why didn't you just let Jesus take over and you gave up your life for your child then? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And I never will. And, maybe someday, if it's true, the whole going for Judgment Day, maybe I can ask that question.
Yeah.
My first question is going to be, though, is Mary Louise Abbott in there? Because if she's not, you can send me wherever she is. Because I was like, she was very worried that she wouldn't make it. And I'm like, if you didn't make it,
we didn't.
The rest of us don't have a
chance. We didn't even touch on Trump, posting that AI picture of him as Christ.
Yeah.
And then it was just a doctor.
Yeah.
No, well, that the funniest thing about that. So he tried to sit there and say, no, I was a doctor. So my first thing was, then why weren't you wearing scrubs instead of Jesus's outfit? Because you had on Jesus's outfit, and I had surgery at St. Rose Hospital in Las Vegas. Okay, I had one of my surgeries, my hernia surgery, and that is a Catholic hospital. Okay,
and they're not dressed in the
They
robes.
do not. They wear scrubs. The doctor, my surgeon, came in. more wearing scrubs. He even had like the scrub hat when he came in to talk to me before and after my surgery.
And he'd have the light coming out of his hands.
He did not heal me through light. He had scalpels and whatnot, you know.
And what was he healing in that picture? Was he healing Jeffrey Epstein or Jon Stewart?
I know the jury's out on that. Some people think it's Epstein. Some people I think it looks a little more like Jon Stewart. I'm going to agree with Jon Stewart.
Oh, was that the light and the bleach thing that he mentioned during COVID? Is that what was in the picture?
Oh, maybe.
So here's the funny thing about that, though, about Trump saying no, that I was a doctor. His demented brain, his staffers, behind the scenes people tried to tell him, you need to go out and say that the photo was doctored. Okay, that it was doctored. So he went out in his demented brain and said, I was supposed to be a doctor. Like, he couldn't even get the excuses right. Okay, he fucked that up because he's suffering from dementia. We can't even get the other side to at least agree on that. It's like every time there's something like this happened, my brain automatically goes to, but Biden, you know, I'm like turning their own shit on them. But if Biden did this, because it's like they came out every single time with, you know, when Biden would misspeak and whatnot. And I find myself constantly saying, yes. And then when Biden had the really bad debate, the Democrats I don't know if you guys were there for this. Did you not look at your whole ballot? I know that you were just going in to vote for Trump, but Joseph Biden was not on the ballot. It was Kamala Harris. I know you weren't going to vote for her, but did you at least see her name on there? Because the Democrats handled their problem. So now go. It's your turn. It's your turn.
But here's the thing, though. Once the Democrats found that Biden wasn't capable of doing the job anymore, what did they do? They replaced him on the ballot.
That's what I just said.
They kind of just showed him the door, you know.
Yeah.
Whether it was, and the same way with Eric Swalwell, you know. At least the Democrats take care of their own.
Right. My point exactly. Okay. You brought up another great point. So Eric Swalwell has been accused. Okay. It hasn't even been investigated yet. He already stepped down. So Donald Trump has been accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. Hasn't been investigated, right? Why the fuck is he not stepping down?
Yeah.
Why is he not stepping down? Because I will say this too. I've been having this argument with idiots on social media. Everyone knows that it is a crime to make a false accusation to the FBI. Everyone knows this, right? Like I'm not telling anybody anything new. So why wouldn't they want to investigate this claim to see if, you know, Donald Trump's the one who needs to be prosecuted?
There's many reasons, but
or the woman who made the claim, like, because we know how it's actually going to go, you know, like, and also on that note, why have none of the women who have accused him of rape, why have none of them been sued? Because he's sued people for a lot less. Right. So why are there no lawsuits?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just...
I'll wait, MAGA. I'll wait for your reply. I'm still waiting. They have not answered me once on social media when I've put this out there. I have not gotten one response from them on this. I'm still waiting for a reply.
Well, it just shows you who's the part of the morals, you know, because Tony Gonzalez wouldn't have stepped down if Swalwell didn't step down.
He only stepped down because of that. And that was because you got to give her some sort of credit that Anna Polina Luna. I usually add Tick on the end of her name, Lunatic, but it was only because someone from their own party, went ahead and filed that he should also step down, did whatever it's called in the technical term for it in Congress. Like, she did that.
But not until someone else steps down so they can even it
Yeah.
out.
Right.
Exactly.
Because that's probably the only reason, like, they held on to him, because Mike Johnson didn't want him to step down, because then they would lose another person in Congress. This is where their morals lie.
Yeah. And
Like-
Johnson actually came out and said that.
Yeah,
Let
he
it
flat
hide.
out said it. I'm not losing somebody on our side.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll probably wrap this one up. Just once more, thanks to Michelangelo Signorile for doing this. And
Yes, it was awesome.
a special thanks also, bring it back to JL Covan, because if it wasn't for JL doing the show and opening the door to introduce us to Pete Dominic, who I believe will get on the show in the very near future, but we wouldn't have gotten the guests. We wouldn't have got Adam Sank, John Fugelsang, Christian Finnegan, and all these people that... So, yeah, they like to say, like, we were talking about last weekend, how Pete helped JL when his career was down, and vice versa. JL helped Pete when he got fired from CNN and Sirius. So it's great that community has kind of welcomed us in and, has gotten us the quality of guests that we have gotten in the last year. And we're really appreciative to all of our guests and listeners and fans. So on that note, we'll wrap this up, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Yeah.
Hey.